Can we make sure perception in the dual task is consciously accessible? So the dual task paradigm has the various advantages that I reviewed in the last video, like keeping the stimulus and movements exactly the same, and the only instructions can be manipulated. But still, there are disadvantages. One is that we don't know whether the previous study has concluded consciousness, maybe due to the overtraining and its associated sort of non-conscious processing. Can we really consciously, can we really assure that it's conscious processing? And another thing is that whether it's possible to assume that all the attention is consumed at the center. Well, these are the remaining disadvantages. So in terms of the first question or criticism, let's use the metacognitive accuracy test as a criterion for conscious access. I already introduced this a couple of weeks ago in the beginning of the lectures. It is called the type 2 signal detection task. Instead of presenting the stimulus as signal to noise and then making a stimulus decision interval kind of situation, correct or incorrect trial itself as a sort of internal observation, and then make a different kind of confidence judgment about correct or incorrect. That is the sort of the idea of the type 2 analysis of the signal detection. And then the idea is that if you can raise the confidence about correct trials and then lower the confidence about the incorrect trials, then you should be able to, you are able to discriminating your own sensitivity or your own correctness internally, and that result in this metacognitive, high metacognitive accuracy. And in terms of the blind side, I explained extensively that the naive performance, or objective performance in terms of that, we might see some kind of receiver operating characteristic like this to conclude that it is above chance performance, but discrimination between correct and incorrect is quite bad at this blind side or our own unconscious behavior. So that results in usually this chance metacognition accuracy. So the idea is that if the previous phase task was performed without conscious access, then type 2 performance should now fall to chance. And because we were able to collect this confidence judgment in the 2 clicks, we can now directly address this question. So the results are basically that we are consciously perceiving phases under the dual task. Here is the first critical result. So x-axis is the confidence rating about the central letter task, okay? And then this thick red is for the correct trials. And then a pink, or salmon color is the incorrect trials. Under the single task, on the central letter task, people raise the confidence around 3 and then lower the confidence around 2.5 when they are incorrect. So that means that letter task itself, we can do it with metacognitive access. And then in terms of face gender task, again, it's also the case that when they are correct, they raise the confidence, and then when they are incorrect, they lower the confidence. And then the critical thing is this dual task result. Okay, under the dual task situation, when they know that they are correct about the letter, then their letter confidence remains the same, and also face is the same. Okay, but if they are incorrect, they are also lower, and this itself is independent, and that's it's not like because I'm correct in this phase, I must be wrong about the letter. That kind of anti-correlation is possible to discard by the type 2 analysis. But anyway, so here up to here, phase metacognition is possible, and central task itself is also metacognitively accessed. And this type 2 analysis suggests that in the single task situation, both of them are cognitively, metacognitively aware about 0.6, and then there is some kind of drop here compared to perfect performance, but metacognition is still much above chance here. Okay, that's the sort of the performance in the face task and also central letter task situation. And then in the case of so this basically establishes the fact that faces under the dual task performance is not something that is blindsided behavior. And we can report the visibility with a graded level of confidence that correlates with the accuracy. And just quickly for the blue, green-red disk, it's not the case. Here, like the above case, single letter task situation, they can raise the confidence when they are correct but not incorrect, and then correct or incorrect. That's about disk, and then they can metacognitively access both of the aspects of the task if each are single task situation. However, when both of them are done at the same time, then the letter task aspects, central, correct trials were again higher in terms of the subject rating, but lower in the incorrect trials. So that's fine. So metacognitive, access to the central task remains the same, but this letter, the green, red, disk aspects completely disappear. So even if they are correct or incorrect, this green or blue circles are not the same, different height compared to this one. So meaning that they don't know now. If in effect, it is becoming like 50% chance performance, and they also don't know when they are correct and incorrect. And that results in the metacognitive accuracy, effect of this type. So here, for both tasks, single task performance is highly above chance, about 0.5, but both of the tasks, the letter task remains sort of, highly metacognitively accurate, but the disk aspect becomes completely suffering. So it becomes trade-off onto this diagonal line. So disks aspects, we can't just see it consciously, and that is confirmed with this metacognition criterion. Now, one interesting possibility that we needed to sort of exclude is that do we actually forget experience really easily under the dual task? And maybe it's the case that the dual task situation is very strange, that faces and also disks are all experienced, but something that is unfamiliar, like a red-green thing, they may be just forgotten really quickly. So to address such a situation, what we did was the partial report experiment. And then here, what we did, so this is the difference between this blue and green dot. And blue dot situation, subjects were always trying to report both central task letters and also their disks as well. But in this green situation, dual task partial report situation, we asked only one aspect of the task at the time. That means that instruction-wise, subjects were paying attention to both disks and also in the center. Okay, but in each trial, they are not sure which are going to be asked. And then if they are asked about the central letter, because that is supposed to be the sort of the primary task, they are accurate here. The green one. It's very well, and this confidence is also good. But when they are asked about the green-red letter, green-red disk, even though it was not preceded by the letter thing, so it minimized the memory decay, it's still impossible to say that oh, it was red-green or green-red. And that's consistent with the subject's phenomenological report that once you start to attend to the central, then you just don't see these red-green things. So this is consistent with inattentionally blind situation rather than inattentionally amnesic situation. Okay. Now, the last sort of the control experiment. So can we really assume that the attention is withdrawn by the central task? Some of you might say that their faces are known to attract spatial attention, and it is true. So maybe the fact that faces can be still reported with metacognition access is that spatial attention is not tied to the letter task during the face experiment. But because red-green disks are so boring and so insignificant, it just requires more attention to do the task. So what can we do? And then to address this question, what we came up with this situation. So basically, we blended disks aspects and the face aspects on the same location, and then see what happens. Okay, so phenomenologically speaking, it becomes relatively clear that under the dual task situation, face aspect still remains the same, but the green-red aspect becomes invisible. It's really weird, but phenomenologically, that's what we experience. And in fact, the performance-wise, face aspect discrimination remains, intact, whereas the disk aspect, becomes, chance. Okay, so here, stimulus-wise, it's even the same for the face and disk situation. What is different is only the instruction about, face and about, disks under the dual task. And here, if the face already attract attention, then why we cannot do this in this task? Because it's already there in terms of attracted attention. It's really unclear according to that explanation, right? So one object's two aspects of experience can be dissociated with or without attention. And the face aspect remains, conscious, but the disk aspect dissolves. In summary, so all these dual task experiment shows that even using the metacognition criterion during the dual task, faces are consciously experienced while the disks are not. And then blended stimuli experiment ruled out as spillover account of attention. And then the next question is, why do the effects of withdrawing top-down attention differ depending on the stimulus or tasks? And according to this, Stanley-Haynes model of attentional amplification and stimulus strengths, is it clear why this is the case? Because now the stimulus strength-wise, especially that you are blended, stimulus task situation itself is, stimulus itself is the same, so it's unclear. Then the overall question is that can activation models explain consciousness? That's sort of the broader kind of question. We are going to address that in the next video.